morning. My name's Linda and I'm your counsellor on call. I'm here this morning because I want to share some information to you which is really, really important in regards to healing from childhood sexual abuse and from sexual abuse in general as well. I realised after I put the title that it can apply right across broadstream, across every type of sexual abuse. This will be happening. I will put a link down below to the earlier video I did when I found some information out a couple of months ago about how we have our power taken away from us, and that video explains all the ins and outs of that. So that's an important video before this one. But today we're going to focus on such an important aspect that until now I've never had the information to give you. And again, it's one of those things where I've never found the information either. And it's been my goal to heal from the childhood sexual abuse and every facet that it infected my life with. And what I came to understand, now forgive me, Panda put her paw in my hot chocolate and then flicked it all over my desk. I just didn't see that it had that we got hot chocolate on our soul. So hot chocolate and soul works for me. Okay, so remember this. We have our body, we have our soul, we have our spirit, okay? And then we have the pure source of life inside of us, our essence. Now, if you could see this in 4D, you could see it all interwoven together. We don't have 4D at this point in time. I hope one day I do, which will help make it more real for you. But for the moment, this is a really good first step to understand. So when we're actually sexually abused, I once said to a counsellor many years ago, I said, I need you to tell me what he did to me. Now, I wasn't saying what was the physical act or the circumstances at the time. I knew that. But I need you to tell me what he did to me, so what he did on the inside of me. And she said to me, he murdered your soul. And at the time, I was like, well, yeah, basically he ripped everything out of me. Okay, I get that. But the implications of that, I now understand much deeper. Because what happens is, so our soul is us, you know, the embodiment of who we are, who we grow into, etc., etc. And our spirit is the breath of life in us, okay? So if you go way back centuries and look at the Hebrew root word for spirit, it's like breath. And the easiest way you can relate to it is without breath, we're expired. With breath, we're inspired. We're inspired dirt clods. Sorry, that's another chat show. So we can live with inspiration. But the thing is, we can't live a life alive if everything's covering the pure spirit, pure breath, pure source that lies within us. It won't happen, okay? Because what happens with the sexual abuse is it cuts through the physical, obviously, and our soul. So especially when we're younger, it is so painful. It cuts through into, we haven't even had time to develop who we are. So our brain, so think of it from a brain perspective. Our brain, no matter whether it's as a child or any stage of our life, when you experience sexual abuse, your brain goes into overdrive and it's traumatic. You suffer trauma, okay? And so that triggers a whole lot of stuff in our brain that we have no control over at the time, because our brain is going, be safe, get out of there, get out of there. And when sexual abuse happens, we are literally frozen in the spot. We can't move, okay? We're not empowered to move. It's, oh, look, there's so many facets of it that I can't cover them all right now. But for the moment, just know that it comes down into our core spirit, okay? And it infects us. So the infection comes up from spirit right through our soul and into our body as well. So anyone who's been sexually abused, a lot of these people and a lot of the women certainly suffer from being overweight because we're holding everything in. Okay, we're holding all the information in right down to a cellular level because we don't know what to do with it, how to go about it, how we're going to heal, etc., because our mind wants to be logical about it, but it is such a deep process, okay, that it goes beyond the logic. What I'm trying to do is give you a framework so that your brain can just take a rest, and we can know that we can go into these deep spaces, into our pure essence, and we can heal. Okay, so what we're aiming for is to be alive right from the inside all the way out, through every layer of who we are. Now, what happens with the sexual abuse, it creates separateness, okay? So it separates us from the pure essence of ourselves, and we're living from our infected spirit, which, you know, infects every part of us. So we could, you know, remember our brain is all part of this. So it skews our perception of life. We can walk around with a brain fog for a long time, and there's 20% of us that we can't see without being in community with other people, right? But when the sexual abuse happens, I believe, and I've seen and I've experienced, that there is literally more than 20% that we can't see, but then we become more aware of the world outside of us and around us. So for me, I actually began to be able to see people and what's happening with them at a soul level, because I lived in this heightened state of awareness. And it was motivated, fear-based, because my brain was like, when's this happening again? Okay. How, you know, and you live like this in your muscles are so tense, and you don't even know it. I didn't even know how tense my muscles were. That was a journey that unfolded itself. But this video is about our separateness from ourselves, okay, the disconnect. Now, obviously, when that happens, we're looking for connection, and you only have to do a little bit of research with people who've experienced sexual abuse, and you will become aware of that they can be very sexually promiscuous throughout their lives. That didn't happen to me mainly because of the circumstances of my life, plus having Asperger's, I'm pretty focused. So it happened on a minor level, but not to the extent that a lot of people, it happens for. It's very real. And the reason why it happens is because they're looking for that sense of connection. Where I noticed it in my adult life is that I always knew there was more than just the sexual act, that I was looking for that connection. So it would feel like a deep pressure in me. And in my life, it actually shut me down a lot, and I didn't talk in my younger years, you know, just yesterday. I didn't talk a lot unless I knew what I was about to say was right. So that was another complication for me. And we all have them at different levels because it affects us as a soul. Okay, we ache to know who I am, all right? And that's a journey in and of itself. So what happens is, because we're disconnected on the inside from our very core self, we look on the outside for connectedness. One of those things that comes up is lust. As I've just said, with the sexual promiscuity, the lust will come up. So what we need to do, the most simplest thing we can begin to do, is be aware of our need for connection. So we need connection in community and around us with good people, okay, people who care. Me. And then we need to do the healing work within ourselves to have connection right back to the core of I am, okay? I hope that is easy enough to understand. I get excited about uncovering all of this because the information just hasn't been there for me. And I want to be able to share it with everyone so that you can each seek the path that helps you get back to that connectedness, because right at the core of us, we are powerful, okay? And we need to be able to put that first before we seek connection outside of ourselves. Okay, blessings and dreams. If you have any questions, pop them down below. I'm happy to help you work through them. It's not an easy subject. It's not an easy time. It does take courage, but you know what? We can do it. We can do it. All right, bye for now.